Hello and welcome. We are in New York for Swift Business Forum, and I'm now joined by Grainger, who is the head of North America for Swift. Stephen, thank you for joining me. I want to ask you about two things, innovation and cyber threats. These are two of the key topics being discussed here at the event. Is there a point where innovation is becoming more a problem than a solution because it potentially opens the door to new risks?
It's a difficult one. I think generally innovation's a mindset. So innovation, whenever people think about trying to do something different, it's always going to pose a problem for somebody. It's always going to pose a challenge for somebody. But I think when most people think about innovation, they think about it being led by technology. And so what does that technological innovation do? And I think that there's lots of interesting technology out there. People will talk a lot. We've heard a lot today about DLT, but it's not just about DLT. It's about regtech. It's what's in robotics, AI. Some of these technologies are still quite nascent. We're trying to work through how do we use them, what do we do, what are their capabilities, what are their weaknesses, and so we're going to learn through a period of time and through process and application of those technologies where the risks actually manifest from. I think that the interesting thing is going to be what does that intersection look like of new technologies with existing businesses and existing business models. So those business models have, or should I say, existing technology has grown up to support existing business models. So as we start to think about where to apply new technology, we then have to start to think about, can you apply that technology over an existing business model, or does something else have to change? And if you start to think about, if you go with the former and say you could just apply the technology over an existing business, well, then you might be trying to shoehorn something into a process where it may not fit.
So you take part to a lot of these discussions, talking to many of the industry players. How has the conversation changed in recent times?
If I think about just one of the products that we've been working through, one of the capabilities we've been delivering, global payments innovation, I think what's quite interesting there is if you strip out everything, the new capability, the new technologies that are being deployed, actually it's the industry coming together to work through how to collaboratively work together under the same market practice, under the same business model. And from that point, then you can start to think about the benefits of new technology. And that's what GPI is going to deliver. I mean, whether we think about the new flexible databases that are going to be used to support the cloud-based tracking capabilities, whether it's APIs to be able to allow people to interrogate and access data in a different way, that will aid new business models, that will aid the delivery of new products to customers. But fundamentally, the more interesting thing I think is the fact that innovation has started by a group of banks coming together, realizing that they need to drive change. And that's challenging for banks as well. I mean, banks typically have a mixed history, should I say, of finding ways to collaborate together. And I think that with the current challenge of fintech knocking at the door, trying to and even potentially eroding some of the margins of some of the existing players, banks and other financial actors are working through. They can't solve every problem for themselves.
And so we're going to see potentially banks working together and banks working in partnership with fintechs in the future. Thank you for your comments, Stephen.
Great, thank you.